Good evening, good evening, good evening. Welcome to Extra Time Live. It's finished today. Leeds United won, Wolverhampton Wanderers won, and for much of that game, it was 1-0 to Wolves. And the irony is, last week we scored a late set-piece goal to secure an incredible comeback against Villa. And today it's a 94th, 95th minute penalty from Leeds. Although to say, yeah, as Wolves fans, we'll probably have to admit they deserved at least a point out of that game from the second half. But we do want to get into it and seeing how we feel about Bruno's tactics, how we performed, hearing the views, the performance rating and man of the match from everyone that's getting involved today. I have to tell you now that doing this show right now is commitment from everyone here, because most of us have been to the game today and most of us haven't been home very long, and here we are doing the live show for you. So if you could be so kind as to smash a like on the video, let YouTube know you're enjoying it, join in the conversation, and if you're listening to it back on the podcast, please give the Always Wolves podcast, which is episode 51 now, a rating on the podcast on Apple, Spotify, and most good podcast providers. And you might also be watching it back on catch up, just like BBC iPlayer on YouTube as well. So we've got we're going to get Paul on first, but we've got Josh, Manny, and Craig that are coming on. I'm not sure if Craig's written a song for us this week or not. The one that he did for the Ruben Neves song was fantastic. And I just want to say a big hi to everyone in the chat for joining us. And hopefully we'll get this all finished before match of the day. So I'm going to bring on first, friend of the show, Paul. How you doing, mate?
Hi, Dave.
Paul's wearing the white top as well. Everyone's got them and they look good.
All three of them are good, in fairness.
Okay.
All three of the tops, I think Castor have done a brilliant job.
They have, and the training wear and some of the other stuff have been really, really good. Paul, we didn't bump into each other today, but whereabouts in the stand at Ellen Road were you sitting? And you went to Meadow Hall before, so tell us about that as well.
Snuck in a Nando's before the match.
Oh, did you?
Yeah. Got to have some good fuel, haven't you, for an away day? So,
well, Jake Johnston's just popped up. He's watching the show live in California at the moment. Everyone in the chat, let us know where you're watching from. That'd be great. So what's Meadow Hall like before we get on the game these days, mate? Still going?
It's a similar version to Maryhill, to be honest. I mean, there's a few gaps, like where Debenhams and other big shops have gone bankrupt. But it was just a quick stopping off point, really, for a good feast.
A sneaky Nando's.
Yeah.
And we've got Derek from Auckland in Australia that's joined us as well, which is amazing. California and Auckland, Australia. We've got Ewan from Northern Ireland as well. Fantastic. So getting into the game, mate, talk me through how you feeling about that at the end and what you thought of the as the game went on.
Okay. Well, I'll quickly say before I talk about the game that in general I'm really pleased, especially with our recent form. Was it 4 wins out of 6, one draw?
4 wins out of 5, wasn't it? It's 4 wins out of 6 now, yeah.
And 2 points off the top 4. So whatever I'm about to say over the next few minutes, I am pleased with the more longer term picture because it's 9 games in now. That's a quarter of the season roughly. So
yeah.
Overall, I'm pretty pleased with that. But today, it's a missed opportunity. Leeds have got some 4 key players out. We've started the game really positively. Even before we scored, we had a couple of good breaks down the left.
We did.
And I thought, great, we finally got our early goal. We finally scored in the first half. Leeds have got these key players missing. They look so open at the back and they're defending so high up the pitch. This is there for the taking. This could be...
I thought that as well. I thought we could go on early doors. I thought we could have gone on and scored 2, 3 and 4 because we seemed to be getting in. Traore was having a lot of space. And I noticed as well from, there was not Leeds 1 and 2 and 3 on him. There was like one person, and he could get past them.
Yeah.
But I thought a lot of the Leeds fans were basically saying that we were quite dirty and, stopping play and stuff. We've had that done a bit to us, but I thought that the Leeds, the referee was a little bit lenient, especially in the first half, on some of the persistent fouling that was going on in our players. Martinho got booked at his first tackle, got a yellow in the 5th minute. And I think it took till the second half till Leeds actually got a yellow card, which I was really surprised.
Yeah, but we should have built on that early goal. I just saw so many gaps that we could exploit, and we've got such pace up front and skill. So it was disappointing that we didn't go and build on that early goal. But I will say as well, Leeds are a difficult team to play against. They don't give you a minute on the ball. We all know, we've all heard all the stats about their running stats and pressing, and they are very good at doing that. But I'm really disappointed about lack of ambition, especially in the second half today. I've seen a few comments about it was like watching one of Nuno's teams, and I guess it was. But all this is against a backdrop of a lack of recruitment in the summer.
Yeah.
So I think that needs to be taken into account. But overall, if I had to sum it up, I'd say missed opportunity.
Definite missed opportunities. There's a question here from Carl. Dave and Paul, did you see any objects thrown from the Leeds fans in the second half?
I want to point out
1 or 2. There was lots.
Yeah, Jimenez goes down with a head injury after about 20 minutes, down by that Norman Hunter stand behind the goal. And if there's one player in the Premier League who goes down with a head injury, they really need to take care of a player like him. And they were chucking lighters at him when he's on the floor with a head injury. And this is only 20 minutes into the game or so. So it's not like he's going to be time wasting. I was just so shocked that the Leeds fans were behaving like that towards a player who really, nobody deserves treatment like that on the pitch, but particularly him with his recent past of head injuries. I thought it was staggering, really, how they treated him like that.
I have to agree. It was behind that, behind the goal. There was a lot thrown, and the stewards didn't seem to take anyone out either, or like it spotted it. Or maybe they didn't see who threw them, but there was quite a few bits and pieces, and it only got to hit someone. I thought that was disappointing. I'd say that was disappointing because, to be fair, aside from obviously that people throwing, which is totally out of order, the Leeds fans. It's the best away. I mean, in terms of so far this season, their support was fantastic. The way they got behind their team, second half, that's around the whole stadium. It kind of was really inspired that performance from Leeds in the second half. Their fans, I think, and the way they got behind their team and got them going was a big part of how Leeds played in the second half, and I think it affected the Wolves players, although we tried to deal with it and play with it, and the Wolves fans obviously sang back, but the atmosphere at Ellen Road was really good, and I've got to credit the Leeds fans for that.
That's a fair comment, Dave, particularly with a team that's been struggling over the past few weeks and a team that was losing. I thought the Leeds fans vocally were very good, but I just thought some of the behaviour towards throwing objects at Sace as well, Ait-Nouri in the second half, and particularly Jimenez when he's down with a head injury was disgraceful, really.
Yeah, absolutely. You have to agree with that, mate. There's been obviously some talk. Wolves haven't played that well in the last 6 games, but we played well in patches. I thought at some points today, especially early in the first half, we started to see us zipping the ball around like we had early doors. Yeah. And then we got to half-time. Leeds were just starting to get a foothold going into half-time. And I was glad the half-time came. But we seemed to be, it was a bit Nuno-esque in the way we defended, the way we approached the game in the second half. We never really seemed to get at them. They were closing us down. The ball was coming in. Saar made a fantastic save, which I thought was a sure goal. He kept us in it. And we nearly got away with it, but the second half was just literally, it was like there was a slope on the pitch. It was one-way traffic all the way. And I was a bit disappointed. A lot of people have been disappointed that we're a bit ultra negative. Do you think that was injury related or tactical? I mean, what are your thoughts?
Seemed to be a tactical and mindset issue. Obviously, we could have done with one or two players recruited who could help us in that area. I think, though, we almost scored too early and didn't know what to do. We haven't been in that position. I mean, maybe someone in the chat can say, but when was the last time we were winning at half time in a Premier League match? And I think I don't know if they didn't have a plan for it, but I think it was the wrong plan about how to go about defending a 1-0 lead.
Well, I've got to be honest, over the last 2 years, it's probably a shock to the system that we scored in the first 10 minutes.
Yeah.
I mean, even last week, we left it till the last 15 minutes to score our 3 goals, didn't we? And we have been wanting to score earlier. It was great. I thought for 10 or 15 minutes after the goal, Leeds were there for the taking.
Yeah.
And then the second half, I don't know whether it was the Leeds or whether it was.
They deserve some credit.
Well, they did. They played well. You can't knock Leeds. I mean, it's the way they played is, with the passion and the support and the way they got their supporters going, the supporters got them going was great. They were causing us all sorts of problems. Although I saying that, I did think we were dealing with it, and I think Semedo that did the foul?
Yeah, it was.
But Semedo wouldn't have been on that side had Aït-Nouri not gone off, and he was. Hoover came on, and Semedo had to move over to that left side, which is not his position, and he looked like he wasn't really comfortable there. And towards the end, it was all coming down that right-hand side.
The pressure just told in the end. You can't afford to play that defensive and just hope, like a phrase that you used before, to get away with it. We would have completely got away with it today. If we'd have come away with 3 points, there's no way we deserved that. And it just makes me wonder, thinking ahead. We've got a really tough December coming up. If we play like that in those matches, we'll absolutely get torn apart. And I wonder if it'll actually play into our hands a bit, playing against better teams.
Yeah.
It'd be interesting to see how that pans out. But disappointed with the negativity in the second half. And as I said, missed opportunity overall.
Definitely a missed opportunity. I think you agree. Had we have won that game, we would have been equal fourth. Okay, there's a lot of the teams that have got going in hand on us as well. But is it 9 matches in, won 4, lost 4, drawn 1, goal difference of 0.
Yeah.
After the first 3 games, we'd have definitely have taken that. But this attacking football that we've seemed to have been playing early doors, we didn't get the results, but we looked so impressive. The stats today for Leeds, they had 64% possession to our 36.
Yeah.
They had 18 shots on our goal to our 8. They had 4 shots on target. We had 4 shots on target. And of course, it was 1-1. But you can just see from the stats, the possession. Wolves. I was disappointed with the possession because early doors we were dominating possession, and now we seem to be being dominated. Leeds definitely needed something because obviously they're in a precarious position. But playing like that, they ain't going to have any problems, I don't think.
No, I don't think they'll be in relegation trouble. But yeah, you said about the possession, that was one thing we were told to expect from one of Bruno's teams. But in fairness, I think Hwang is the only outfield player to start today that's one of his players. Otherwise, it's pretty much the same team, isn't it, as last season? So let's see when the January transfer window and when he's had a year, 18 months, and he's starting to mould his team, will that start to change for the better then?
Well, we'll have to wait and see. We need to get to January because we're running a bit tight on. Bolly's injured again or out for whatever reason. Aït-Nouri went off today. How bad's he? Marcel had picked up a calf strain. Neves was apparently on the bench because he'd picked up a strain. Jimenez was a doubt. we've still got a very, very thin squad. And I think Bruno said we can't afford to pick up any more injuries because, in the Premier League, if you lose 2 or 3 key players, if we lose someone in the midfield, I thought, before we get on to our next caller, what did you think of Den Donker's performance today?
Poor. Bloke on the same row as me said, I can't believe Belgium are ranked one of the best teams in the world and he gets in their team. And I thought he was poor today. He gave the ball away a lot, which is quite uncharacteristic. He's normally quite tidy, if not very penetrative in possession. He's normally quite good at keeping the ball, but he didn't do that today. But I think they were just overrun in the middle, and that probably contributed. But overall, I thought he had a poor game. And I think in general, we need to work out what he is as a midfielder. Is he box to box? Is he a sitter? Is he someone who we're going to try to get breaking forwards and get 6, 7, 8 goals a season? I don't think they know, and don't know if he knows what he is as a midfielder yet.
I know two games. Me and Manny talked about this on the post-match reaction because Manny came on with me, and we were like, he's had 2 starts now, Southampton away and today, and he hasn't convinced in either of those games. Okay, I think he started last week, didn't he, as well? He hasn't been very convincing, but he's a good player. But I'm not sure if it's quite working out for him at the moment. But he gave quite a few passes astray. Paul, to finish off with, who's your man of the match and what's your performance rating this week?
I think people will give it to Sarr because I thought he played well, but I thought Aït-Nouri made a difference today. I thought he offered a lot of good attacking intent down the left. He nearly got a goal early on in the second half. I thought he defended well, and I think he should play in the next match. So I think I was really
Did he just go off with cramp, Paul?
Cramp, yeah. He cramped up with about 10 minutes to go, and then the second time, that was when he had to come off. But I thought he had a really good game today against a tough opponent as well in Rafinha.
He is, and he is a good player. He does add a little bit more than Marcel going forward. Yeah. Paul, thanks for coming on. Much appreciated again. I know it's been a long day for you as well, so much appreciated. I know you'll probably listen to this back on the podcast as well, won't you?
Yeah, thanks for having me on, and I'll be at the Everton game on Monday.
Nice one. All the best, Paul. Thank you.
Okay, cheers, everyone. See you, Dave. Bye-bye.
So that's our Paul. And next up, we have got Josh. Hey, Josh. How are you, mate?
Good, thanks, you.
This is your second appearance on the show. Did you go today?
Yeah, I did. Yeah, me and my dad went up today on the coach. So,
who did you travel with?
Went with the official coaches this time round.
And what time did you set off?
Set off at 10:30 and got there for about 1:30.
Oh, right. So you had a little bit of time. Sometimes these coaches turn up last minute. And whereabouts in the Wolves end were you sitting?
Just level with the end of the pitch where we were on the top half.
Oh,
we were
fantastic.
Right beyond the disabled bay where me and my dad were. So
fantastic. Well, thank you for getting back. What time did you get home?
It's got to have been about 7:45.
Well, we stopped off at the services and had a sandwich and a Costa.
Yeah.
I know Manny gets his Costa in before he goes. We had to get one on the way back, you see, because the Lucky Costas, they've got a tradition. They have a Lucky Costa or a Lucky Starbucks before they get to the game. So, talk us through your thoughts on the game from start to finish, mate.
I say the first 10 minutes, when that goal come in 10 minutes, and it was well worked from when Jack Harrison that lost the ball to Semedo, and Semedo picked it up and got it in. I thought for the 20, 35 minutes, we controlled the game once we got the goal. Although we didn't have many more chances that first half, we were definitely, I don't think we were sitting as deep as we were second half. And then we got that free kick just before half time. To be looking at it now, I'd quite like to see Sace have a pop at that on the left foot.
Yeah.
You've seen it in the past where he has come close. And then it was, I think we probably could have nicked a few more goals. They were there for the taking after we scored. I thought, the first 10 minutes they looked lively, we looked lively, and then we got that goal and they went quiet a bit. But then second half, I just felt either we were sitting back or they were pinning us back. Because first half, I thought we were pinning their fullbacks and their wingers quite deep.
Yeah, that's a good point. That is
because that on their right hand side, they had Rafinha was at right back at points. I think it was Rafinha and Daniel James on that right hand side, and they just weren't getting forward.
Is Daniel James, the one that got from United?
Yeah,
that's right, isn't it?
And then it was the same on the left because Ayling was injured. You had Jack Harrison. I can't remember who the left back was, but we were pinning them back all first half. In the second half, it was completely the other way around.
And do you blame Bruno for that, or just bad performance, or a bit of Leeds? How are you thinking?
I think it was a bit of both. I think we've been told to ease it back off a bit, but get a chance, try and take a chance where we could. But also, I thought the way Leeds, we were losing the ball in midfield. Second half, we couldn't win. We were losing every battle in midfield. That many loose balls, and especially the one when Dendoncker decided to flick it with the outside of his foot, and it moved about 2 yards, and they ran onto it and nearly scored off it.
I know. I was like, oh my god, when that happened.
But there was too many, like last week, too many loose passes in the centre of midfield. First half at the Villa, second half at Leeds. And then I thought we were just getting overrun midfield, and then they get it out to the right hand side, and kept coming down there when that Geldhart who come on, and he was pushing quite far forward as well. And then obviously that last 20 minutes, you could tell it was coming. They were just hammering. I wouldn't say hammering us because they weren't really getting shots in apart from the one Sarr tipped over the bar, and then. I thought when they got in the box, they weren't too troubling. I thought we dealt with them quite well. But it's just the fact that
the defence. When you look at it, Kilman, Cody, and Saiz especially Saiz, get sometimes a bit of stick. But
yeah,
they've done well, really. Yeah. They've done well. Saiz got a yellow. Cody got a booking.
Kilman
got a book. They all got a booking. The Kilman booking was from a misplaced pass. Yeah. And he tried to do the tackle and he caught him. Martinho got a booking after 5 minutes. I think that probably did affect him a little bit in the back of his mind. He's like, can't afford another yellow. And obviously, Dendoncker, we've talked about. Semedo, I thought did okay until he had to switch wings. Aït-Nouri did all right. Wang, he scored 4 in 4. He scored as many as the rest of the team. I thought that was great, but other than that, I don't think he did much. No, Raul put himself about. Traore created opportunities again, but there's no one that really stood out, was there? Really today?
No, not really. It was more of a collective group today. I thought there wasn't really anybody that made a statement. But it was one of those where you just felt it, that last 20 minutes when they started doing that "We are the champions of Europe" chant that was going on for about 20 minutes.
I'll tell you what, I've got to say, I was quite impressed. I know we were going, what the hell is that? But it did look pretty cool that they were doing, and that all the ground. I would, apart from the throwing the stupid idiots that threw on the pitch. Their support was fantastic because we've been to a few, and it was loud. They were loud, and it was a lot of the stadium, and I think that atmosphere really helped their players.
Yeah.
So credit to them for that. But they were doing that, and they sang it for ages and ages and ages. And it's like we sometimes do the Bruno Lars Barmy Army, and we keep it going for ages. They kept going.
Well, it was the Leeds 4-3, I think, at home, and when we were on Sky. And we were doing Barmy Army for about 15 minutes. That was about 6 years ago now when we beat them 4-3.
I know.
And that went on through the whole ground for about 15, 20 minutes, like they did today, really.
But I think their fans kind of really were their 12th man today and made a big difference. So credit to we come on. Sometimes we go to a place and go, well, we weren't impressed with that. And I remember when we went to Leicester. First match of the season, and they had that little slither that sang, and the rest Ellen Road was rocking today. The
loudest one I've heard away so far.
Oh, definitely, and they were quite intimidating to our players the way they perform.
Yeah,
but mate. Let's talk us through your performance rating and who your man of the match is.
I'd probably performance rating. I'd probably lean toward. I was thinking this on the way back. I was going to say 7, but I'm thinking of it. I'd probably say 6.
Yeah.
We didn't really create much after the goal, and then obviously sitting back the second half and the
I
way
think I gave it a 6.5.
Yeah, but it was just that second half was a bit lackluster. We had nothing going. We were losing the ball, and then man of the match. I am stuck between 2. I'd say Sarr, but I thought Zhao did quite a lot of dirty work today, trying to win the ball back in midfield. He worked hard today, I thought.
My edge was Moutinho, but you've got to split between Sarr and Moutinho. If you have to pick one, who are you going to pick?
I'll probably say Sarr for that save.
It was a great save. And you know what? Sarr is winning the fans over because he did have a bit of criticism, and he really is winning the fans over, and not just with his saves, the way he commands his area and the way he distributes the ball as well. Josh, thank you ever so much for coming on, mate. I'm much appreciated. It's good to have you on for the second time. And I'm glad you managed to get to the match today. And we didn't lose in the end. We managed to get a point. And a point's not a bad result. If you'd have said 4 points from Villa 2 away games, Villa and Leeds, we'd have took that, wouldn't we? If we can follow it up with a win against Everton, who incidentally got beat at home. Was it at home against Watford or away?
They were 2-1 up with 10 minutes to go.
And they lost 5-2. They collapsed.
Josh King.
That shows what can happen in football. Claudio Ranieri, he's weaving his magic already at Watford. The Tinker Man is back. All right, Josh, thanks ever so much, mate.
Brilliant. Cheers, Dave.
Cheers, pal.
Thanks.
So that's Josh. Great to have him on again. And next up, we have Manny again.
Hey, how you doing?
Mate, it was great. Thanks for jumping on the instant reaction after the match. Anytime you want to do that, mate, it's great to have you on. So that was brilliant. And obviously, like us, you've driven there and driven back. You've not been back too long, have you?
I've been back about about 40 minutes, I think. Just after 9 o'clock. Well, about 9 o'clock, I think.
It's a long day, isn't it? It's a long day.
It's been a long day, but it's part and parcel of the joy of following football, isn't it? Going to different cities and seeing different away games. I'd never been to Ellen Road before, so it was a new away day for us, and it is a classic old ground with a lot of history and some legends of the game, the Bremners and Hunters and people like that.
That statue for Billy Brennan, what they've done is really nice, isn't it?
Brilliant. Yeah, I met quite a few Leeds fans beforehand as well. I met one that was born in Bilston.
Oh, really?
Yeah, but he had moved there, to be fair, like years and years ago, and he'd been a Leeds fan for like 50 years. But it's nice sharing a few stories because pretty much a similar path to us, historic club, done really well, then suffered and in the doldrums, and then come back and did really well, had a great season, and now they were very, very negative, the fans were, before the game. They thought we were going to take them because I think they just saw our results and their results haven't been that good. And I sort of warned them. I said, we haven't actually been playing that well whilst we've been getting these results. So I don't think you're completely out of it. And the match sort of, that's the way it went. We scored, but we always thought we need this second goal. We desperately need this second goal as soon as possible. And the longer the game went on, you just sensed it. You sensed the wave, the emotions, the crowd. Sucked the ball in for them almost. Let's be honest. Their fans couldn't have done much more to help their team. Full credit, because we've been to so many away grounds recently, before lockdown a couple of years ago, and the atmospheres have been terrible in some real big clubs and traditional clubs, and so it was good to go to a ground where the fans really got behind their team, considering they were losing.
Leeds fans and the Wolves
made a difference.
Together, it made it a proper Premier League match, derby, almost like a derby atmosphere at times. It was it was amazing. The support, it was so loud. And you're absolutely right. I mean, I don't know whether you agree with me in terms of an away day this year, but that's the best home support that I've seen.
Yeah, it was. I mean, they were very raucous, and it's good. For them, they're back in the team regardless of where they are in the league, which is what any team that's struggling needs. So but going on to the match, we actually started it fairly well.
Yeah.
Fairly even match, but we looked comfortable. Leeds were threatening, but only from distance. And then we scored the goal. We scored the goal probably out the blue a little bit as well for us. And Hwang's got a golden touch in front of goal, that's for sure.
He does. He knows
he's
where the net is.
He's new. He's never, played in this country before. He's come and he smashed 4 goals. So you've got to give him full credit for that, regardless of whether he makes an impact in the whole game or he goes in and out. It will take time. It'll take time, but what an impact to score 4 goals. So, but we needed to go on and get that second goal, and we didn't. And the longer the game went on, and their substitutes, Geldhart, I'd never heard of it. Him, Somerville, never heard of him. I thought Somerville was a singer. I didn't.
Yeah, Jimmy Somerville, yeah.
Yeah. So that they were down to their bare bones, and their fans were saying that they were really down to their bare bones on the bench, and they're bringing a lot of young players on, and they sort of made a difference. And we struggled, I think, in midfield. I know you've just mentioned Joe Moutinho, but I think that booking after 5 minutes was really huge because he's we rely on him to be a bit of a terrier in midfield and biting at people's ankles and nicking the ball, and he couldn't go in as I think he probably wanted to in some of the challenges because he would have been off. There was a couple of hairy ones where he nearly did catch the player, and you thought, and the thing today was he had a partner next to him who might as well not have been on the pitch. Leander Dendoncker. I do like, the player because he has got something about him, but he just doesn't perform regularly, and there's a reason why he's in and out the side. So that was really disappointing, and I think that was the key for me. The midfield were just bypassed and overrun all the time, and the defense was just under pressure, and eventually you're going to crack. I thought the defense did really well, as we didn't actually give Leeds too many clear-cut, gilt-edged chances. They had the one, and so pulled it off a save that was worth a goal for us. That save's like a goal. But apart from that, I thought the defense did okay. They cleared everything. They stood, and I remember the girl next to me said, "Oh, what's Nuri drinking?" Because he had a shot of something, and I said, "That's pickle juice, that is." And she goes, "Well, what's that for?" I said, "Pickle juice is for cramp. So if you ever have cramp, you have a shot of pickle juice."
Is that right?
And it releases the cramp very quickly. I mean, I've run marathons, so I know. I know.
You could have done a bit of that.
I could have. I didn't have any. My son actually said, he goes, "Dad, you forgot the pickle juice," and that's what they take. So he obviously had that shot at around 60 minutes or something. So he was obviously struggling with cramp, and in the end, he came off. And then the switch happens. Semedo comes over to a side that's not his side. So when he's playing, he's not really in a natural position because it's the wrong leg and the wrong stance. Yeah. And that player, to be fair, had gone through. And if he hadn't have challenged, the guy gets a shot off and possibly scores. And it was a bit of a clumsy bundle over, a little bit soft, but once it's given, it's never going to be overturned. We knew that. And, they dispatched the penalty. Over the course of the game, they fully deserved a point. And let's be honest, there was only really one team that looked like winning the game. The longer it went on, it was them, not us. So overall, we've got to look at that and think 3 games where we've played well, but not got a point. 6 games after that, we've got 13 points. More than 2 points a game. So that actually is a very good return. And whatever we think about performances and being disjointed and not being free flowing, guess what? Football's about. It's about getting results. And, sometimes when you start losing, you do get a bit maybe defensive minded because you're just desperate to get a result. And you try and rein back a little bit. So I don't know whether the players have done that or whether it's a management thing, but there has been a drop off in the performance, as in the passing, the possession, the free flowing, the chances, but we've produced the results. So we're here now sitting 2 points a game or more from the last 6 games. So we've got to take that forward. So there's positives there. We can't completely say it's negative. Bruno Lage is also 9 games into his reign, 9 games, which is nothing. He's had virtually no real backing to what he wanted. So he's got to be given that chance. He's got to be given the chance. He's got to be able to recruit again in January. And otherwise, you just go through a merry-go-round of just changing your managers and never getting anywhere. So give him a chance, back him. He knows he's got to produce more. The players know they've got to do more. The midfield needs obviously addressing. If Ruben Neves is nursing a bit of a strain, that's a worry, because we haven't really got anybody else in reserve to bring in. And he is a key player for us. Neves, Raul, with the way he links up, he set up the goal again. He's had that last touch towards Wang. They're vital, these players are. So we've got to keep them fit. And the way you keep them fit is by having other people who are good enough to come in and give them a rest when they are suffering. And twice we've brought Dendoncker in to maybe rest Neves, and he hasn't performed. So that's a worry. It needs addressing very, very quickly, and it's up to the owners to do that. But
we only literally have 3 midfielders, really, don't we? Neves, Dendoncker, and Moutinho. There isn't a lot of options. The only options that we've got is in the formation, really.
Yeah, there is, and at the back we're exactly the same. We are bare bones, with the injuries. Let's be honest, Willy Bowley's struggled with injury now for a couple of years. He's never really been regularly fit, and he's had another illness. I don't know what it's about, but apparently he's back in training. But he only just came back, and Marcel's gone again. But he's had a really, really decent run, to be fair, because he didn't last more than a game or 2 games last season. So he's actually did last, but he's
half, isn't it? So he might be fit for the Everton game.
Yeah. So but for what we've got and the recruitment that we have done, which was limited, the return in the last 6 games particularly has been very good, and it is a results business, but the performance needs addressing and improvement, because you can't afford to be 2-0 down after 80 minutes like last week, or we can't afford to give a team that much possession and that many chances, because on another day a better team scores 2 or 3 in that second half, not 1 penalty. So we've got to be guarded against that, and Wolves, we know, sometimes turn up against better teams anyway and play better, and it's always been the case. We've got to take the positives and keep going. It's work. I call it work in progress. New manager, he's got to be given the tools. He's got to be given a chance to bring his philosophies in. The players will take time to adapt, and he had a right go at Pedence for their goal. So their goal that went in. The run went in and Semedo made the challenge. He had a right, I don't know what happened, I'll have to watch it back, but he was like gesturing to Pedence about the ball, and Pedence was sort of having a bit of a go back, and they were having a bit, because he might have lost the ball or he might not have kept the ball. I don't know what happened, but so it's gonna take a bit of time, and we've got to keep backing him. We've got to keep supporting him. Next home game, huge home game, because at home we've struggled recently, and then we got that win against Newcastle. So we've got to take that on and win another one and get on a bit of a home roll where we're beating sides at home and we're playing well against home. So the fans got to do their job and just sing your hearts out and be on the front foot too when we're supporting, because he's a new manager. He's a fairly youngish manager in a pretty difficult league, and he needs the backing off the board and off us.
Well, we're 6 weeks out, aren't we, from the January window opening? Couple of key things on there. Obviously, African Cup of Nations, the defence. When Saiss and Bolly go, we're going to be really short because Jersen's out, so they've got to have something up their sleeve straight away with that. Also, are you concerned that although there's been a lot of talk, Adama Traore still has not signed that new contract, because obviously that will put a lot of pressure on Wolves to sell him in January if he hasn't signed the new contract.
I think contract things are like, they work so weirdly now. It's not this, it's not like, here you go, mate, here's your contract and we'll throw in or we'll give you this and we'll give it. They take time. All players have always took time, on their contracts, and sometimes it's well, we're not going to talk about it until this date. So they might have a set date when they actually finalise everything. So we don't know. Only Traore
It has
knows.
been going on for almost 18 months now, though. This hasn't.
Yeah, I mean, they have, but there were lockdown. There was lots of rumours about, will offers come in for him? Is he one of the ones they might sell in the summer? Not. Let's be honest, nobody really came in for these players, so that's why they're still here. Nobody was prepared to pay the sort of money that it would cost to take the players. So every player, remember, players don't last for a lifetime at any club, very rarely. Bully was an exception for us, and everybody else is sort of available, and that's why we've got them. Remember, they came to us, so just like they come to us, they can actually go elsewhere as well. The only constant is me and you and the rest of the support fan base. They're the ones who'll turn up every week in, week out. The managers and players will always change, so just got to live in the moment. And he's in the team now, and we've got to back the players that are playing, and then it's down to the board to address those weak areas in midfield and in the back line, which will suffer if we have injuries and players are out. And Premier League's a hard league. You can't just wing the Premier League and think you'll get away with it, because
you can't stand. If you stand still, you go backwards in the Premier League.
That's right.
I'm hoping that they've got and the most supporters will expect something to happen in January, because we do have a thin squad. We know that we're a couple of players short, one in defence and one in midfield. We hopefully we'll get the likes of Neto and Johnny back as well. They'll be like new players when they come back. Manny, what's your performance rating, and who are you giving your man of the match to, and why today?
Performance rating, first half up to the scoring and up to probably about 35 minutes, it would have been 7 or 8 if we'd have got the second goal. But the drop off was huge, and let's be honest, we came out with a point, which looked like we could win it, but we got a point. So it was a huge result because we hung on at the end. So the performances can't be more than 5.5 or 6 for me. Yeah. The result is like 10 out of 10 for the result, because we got away with a point, to be fair.
Yeah.
And my man of the match, actually, I was going to give it to Ryan Aït-Nouri before he got injured, because I thought, especially the second half, I thought he got stronger. Even though he was faced with a barrage, he actually defended really well, and he had attacking threat. But for me, Jose Sarr was only called upon once, really, and he produced a world-class save that keeps us in it. And but for that, we could have ended up losing the game. So it was almost like a goal. So I'll just have to give it to him, because he has impressed. Patricio was a good keeper, world-class keeper, lots of pedigree. So to come into his shoes and actually, in quite a few circumstances, improve that position. Distribution, delivery, that one throw to Pedence.
Towards the end as well, that, like you're saying, the throw out to Pedence when he... Yeah. I thought it was taking the pressure.
That throw out to Pedence, you're thinking, oh, we just took bloody Adama off, because that was a throw out to Adama. They wouldn't have caught him. And I think Raul put the ball through to Pedence as well. If that was Adama, they wouldn't have caught him. So, it was a bit unfortunate that we couldn't get Adama into those positions, because Leeds were playing quite high, especially in the first half, where we just, again, that final pass, the final ball, Nelson Semedo, I know people might give him stick for the foul and being a bit clumsy, but he made the goal, remember. It was his work, and he picked out the player, and it led to a goal. So he did do good things as well. So all in all, a point is a fantastic result, considering the level of performance. And we've had 13 points from 6 games. not the greatest performances, but it's a results business, and we got the results, and it'll take time. It'll take time for him to develop his team to play his way, to bring the performances back up to the level as well. But we'll certainly be there shouting our heads off and giving him all the backing he needs from the sidelines.
And Manny, just to finish off on, there is an important announcement about Samosa Saturday 13.
Yeah.
Do you want to let everyone know?
Yeah, Samosa Saturday 13. You know, this is unlucky number for some, but actually, in our faith, it's actually quite a lucky number. Believe it or not. Long story. 13 is a very lucky number. But anyway, Samosa Saturday 13th is returning. We are doing it for the Liverpool match, which is December the 4th. And that will be before the game, 3 o'clock kickoff. So it's a big match, you know, against a very big traditional famous club, and 3 o'clock kickoff. So we'll be setting up a usual place by the university building just before the subway, from probably around 11 o'clock till kickoff. And you know, it's just a brilliant community event, which I say belongs to the fans of the club. You know, I'm privileged to almost like be a part of it. I know I organise it, and we brought it into the thoughts of people, but it's become a fan thing, and the fans like yourself and then many others volunteer and help out, and without that it's nothing. And you know, just come, donate, and even if you say you forgot your wallet, I'll still give you something to eat. Don't worry about it. You know, we'll feed you, and we'll just meet each other and greet each other, and just try and live life a little bit more positively, because we've all had a pretty bad time over the last couple of years, you know, with all what's happened in the world. And it's about time we bring a bit of joy to each other, and respect each other, and you know, help each other where we can. And if we raise a few quid for a real vital cause, then that's like a huge bonus from it as well. So yeah, December the 4th, be there.
And we'll make sure that we mention that many more times that we're coming up. So make a date, make sure that you get a little bit of change out, and make sure that you get down to get your samosas on the Liverpool game. You've got advance warning already that it's taking place, and it's the first one back since lockdown, because all the other
March 2020. So that was our last game at Molyneux before the lockdown was actually Samosa Saturday. So we carried it on as a delivery service. So you know, which we didn't stop with the actual fundraising, but to have it back at the ground with the fan base, and everybody plays a part. So you know, it's not an exclusive event where only so many people can attend, or it's reserved for certain. You know, it is an open forum, an open event where everybody's allowed to play a part and everybody can join in, and that's really key. That regardless of your background, regardless of who you are, where you're a Liverpool fans all becoming, they've told me, I've had messages from them, they get, you know, lots and lots of negativity from our fan base, but they actually contribute a lot, Liverpool fans, to the fundraising. So they've already told me that they'll be there and they'll be throwing their money behind the cause. So you know, let's make it a really enjoyable day and hopefully beat them as well.
Fantastic. Well, thanks for coming on again today, Manny. I know you've again not long got back in. It was good seeing you just after the match, and
no problem.
If you've not already, make sure you catch up on the instant fan reaction straight after the game, because me and Manny again give our instant reaction straight after the game, so make sure you check that out as well. And I'll probably maybe see you on Thursday at tennis.
Yeah, hopefully. Yeah, no problem, mate.
All right. Good night, mate.
Cheers.
Take care.
See you guys.
So that's Manny. Thank you ever so much for him coming on. Samosa Saturday, the 4th of December, before the Liverpool match. We'll obviously be giving a lot more details about that closer to the date. Next up, we've got Tuber Wolves. Craig, how you doing, mate? Loving the retro. Is that the store top?
That's it.
Look, the shimmer and the shine.
88. We were there. And we're old enough to be there, you see. So, yeah.
The shimmer and the shine on that, man. Beautiful.
I like it.
I do, mate. I do. Let's
How you
hear your
doing, mate?
thoughts
Anyway.
on today, mate. How have you watched the game today?
I can't say, Dave.
Okay. you've used your spider VPN, shall we say? Yeah, that's what you need to know.
You guys that have done an absolutely great job to get back from the game. You look absolutely knackered, but
I am a bit shattered. We all are, I think.
Before I talk about the game, Dave, I want to talk about Manny, who's a legend. I've seen some really unsavoury stuff on social media, and rather than just have a go at these people that you can call all sorts of names, but if you do, then you stoop to their level, don't you? Just ask all these people that have give Manny and people like him stick because of maybe his faith or his colour or whatever. Go and get yourself educated. Go and find out what those communities add to our sort of way of life. They are the greatest people. I've got loads of times for the Sikh community and Manny in particular. He just works tirelessly to make other sort of people's lives much better, and for anybody to have a go at him, you sort of really need to get yourself educated. So I just wanted to get that off my chest, Dave.
100% right, mate. 100% absolutely right. Is everything that you've said in that, mate. And we haven't really gone into much. I know Manny wouldn't want us to go into much of this, but it's very, very sad. I mean, I've had stick, but Manny gets it on an unprecedented stage, and it's. I know how him and his family have suffered with it. So I just hope these sort of things do stop. We're, Wolves fans. We should be all, whether you like someone or don't like someone, we love our team. We should all just stick together and back the team. Have banter. If you don't like someone, fine, that's fine. People don't like me. But there's no need to be nasty or vitriol about it. And let's hope that I know that Manny's told me that there's a lot of people that have been ashamed of some of the things that they've said and have reached out to him. And there's others that do need to, take a look and maybe get educated. And I know that's something that Manny wants. But 100% right. Moving on to the game, mate.
Yeah, what a great start. I mean, we started really, really well, and we're obviously buoyed by last week's three points that we pretty much stole, didn't we? And then we did what we always do with teams that press us really, really high, which is why we always play well against the top teams, because they haven't got that same sort of pressing game. They give us space to play, and our players enjoy that space to play. And when we're pressed, when we push back, the midfield team in particular don't like it, and they almost cease to function. Our back four are looking really great, and the back and the front two look great. But where we really need work is in the middle of the park. When we press, we really struggle. Not just this game, every single game that I've seen for the last year and a half. When any team's given us no time at all, we've really struggled. But you know what? We've just played 2 games away from home and come away with 4 points out of 6, Dave. And you can't argue with that. That's.
We'd have took it before the gap before the 2 matches for definite.
The disappointment is that we looked so good, and when we scored, we were well on top. And had we pushed that home, we'd have beat 2-3-0, 3-1.
I agree.
And we've just got this habit, and maybe we're in 2 minds at the moment. We're in the large mindset and the Nuno mindset, and we don't quite know which way to play at the moment, and we're reverting back to what we know, maybe. But again, we're doing really well. 13 points after 9 games with a new manager, and the goal difference is 0. So that's not bad at all. What else have I got to say? Traore today, he just can't make the ball stick. I mean, that guy, was it Darlow that was on him like a?
I think you're right, yeah.
Like glue. But if he's worth what we think he is, he should have shrugged him off, Dave. And he failed to cope with him today. Donk was just awful. And so goes on to my last point that I want to make to you. Why do managers, and particularly large, seem reticent to make early substitutions when players are just not on it? It's only one game. It isn't as though he's going to discard that player for the rest of the season. You can tell when a player's not on it on a day, and they continue. And that goal, we were really, really lucky to get the draw today, because Leeds, for the last hour, they absolutely battered us, didn't they?
To be fair, yeah. I mean, they did, especially. I think they were starting to get a foothold towards the end of the first half, and then the second half, it just, as it went on, it was just became more and more of one-way traffic, and I kept looking over at the clock. It was almost kind of like reticent, funnily enough, thinking about it now, how I was looking at the clock at the end of the semi-final against Watford. I was just thinking, please, can we get to the end of the game? When we got into, and they had put six minutes up, I'm like, oh, 6 minutes, man. It's a long time, 6 minutes. And of course, the goal came, and then they had another couple of opportunities after that to have won the game. And I think there was only one, although we had that one chance from Pedence that we talked about with the throw out from Sarr. I thought, oh, great, we've got corner up the other end. But it was just a little respite. And, you can't, if we'd have got out of it with a 1-0, it would have been a smash and grab, really, on the back of it. The fact that we got a point, I'm still quite happy, because we could have easily have lost that game. So,
I agree. And we're on a really, really good run, and I can see us doing really, really well. We just got to sort out this way to play when teams deny us space, Dave, because we do tend to struggle then.
Well, we played like this press early doors, and then the first 3 games. I know we didn't win, and we should have won, and we didn't. We would have been able to put the ball in the back of the net. But we played so well and so dominant. And then as each week's gone on, we seem to be more submissive. And it's, Bruno Lage has been brought in to play attacking football, and Nuno was quite defensive. And that second half was, I mean, we all have a lot of time for Nuno and the results that he got us, but it was very, very looked like a Nuno team rather than a Bruno Lage team in the second half. And whether that's because we're carrying injuries, or we're short in depth, or because it was a tactical decision, I'm not really sure. But I am quite pleased on the whole with how Bruno's doing. I think, because we've talked about, he's still only 9 games in, as Manny mentioned. He hasn't had. He'll need 2 or 3 transfer windows, I think. Not just the January one, but next summer he's going to be key. Once he's got 3 transfer windows in, we might see more of what he wants. But we've got to go big in January, I think, in terms of what we're bringing in, because if we can get into a decent position come January and we're in the top half, as we talked about a few weeks ago, we can really push on second half of the season, especially when you get the likes of Johnny and Neto back as well. We'll have a bit more strength in depth, but a couple more injuries and we could really struggle.
Yeah, but then I mean, look at the way that we're bringing young kids through. I mean, in the next 1 to 2 years, we're going to have 5, 6, 7 really great young kids with at least 10 years at Wolves if we keep them, and they're really, really class players. and I'm excited. But today's just at the end of the game, I was absolutely livid because I just felt as though we'd given away 2 points.
Yeah.
And I thought about it, and as I thought about it, I thought, you know what, we've got out of jail there, and we've got 4 points out of 2 games.
I'll tell you what, Craig, before we get on to your performance rating and your man of the match, take how we felt at the end of that game and times it by about 100, and that's probably how a Villa fan felt last week. It's about right, isn't it?
I don't care though, Dave.
I
know. And there will be more songs when the time's right. So Sarr is man of the match for me.
Yeah.
I love how he's not only a keeper, but he's a built-in sweeper as well. When that ball comes over the top, Rui never came off his line. Sarr's always there for us. He's always
looking good, and that's why he got Player of the Month last month. I'm impressed. He's won a lot of the fans round, to be fair.
Absolutely. And 5.5 out of 10. First half an hour, 7.5, 8 out of 10. But the last hour went down to 4.5, 5. So I've given it 5.5 out of 10. Dave, thanks for your work again. Don't take any notice of the knockers. Always
That's
people
right.
that do
we try not to. I
Yeah,
get a
Dave,
lot more positivity than knocks. There's a lot of great community here, and there's some people that just that's how they are. They like to drag you down, don't they? But
and you're right, Dave. But those that moan and knock and insult, you can guarantee are the people that never do anything in their lives for anybody else. So just ignore them. Water off a duck's back, mate. You do a great job.
I need to bring them ducks back out. They ain't been out for a while. Them ducks.
You do. Well done, clan. Well done, this clan. And another great show tonight, Dave. Well done.
Yeah, the Dazzlers, we call them. You're part of the Dazzlers, man. Right, cheers, Craig. We're going to get Jack on next. And catch you soon, buddy.
All right, take care of yourself, bud.
Cheers, man. Bye. So that's Craig. Again, always comes on with he's very honest, is Craig. When he ain't happy, he ain't happy. Even if he's put a smile on his face, you can tell in his eyes. And when he's happy, he's very, very happy. He makes a song up. And next up, but last but not least, we've got Jack. Hello, Jack.
Hello, mate.
Have you been today?
Yes, I have, mate. Unfortunately, I didn't see you for a change. I was quite surprised I didn't see you. But yeah, I've been back about an hour.
It was a long old day today. Set off at 9:30. Got in at about 8:45.
Yeah.
Running the show at 9:15. I'm glad I did put that extra 15 minutes on it today to give me the time to have a cuppa. To be fair, mate. Whereabouts in the stand were you today? Were you your mate from last week as well?
You what, mate?
Were you your mate from last week?
Yeah, I was remember. Yeah. We were sat in the lower part of the lower tier part. We were right by the tunnel part.
Yeah. We were right in the corner by the corner flag, about 3 or 4 rows back.
It's one of them, isn't it? It's one of them. Do you know what? Considering last week how high we were. It feels like a defeat, to be honest with you, because of the timing of the goal. It feels like it's drained so much out of people. I thought first half we played really well. I thought we played really well. Second half I've never seen us be battered like that so much. Put 11 men behind the ball. I've never seen a team properly keep the ball from us, move it out wide, put it out into the box. I thought the back three did really well, as you've said earlier. I thought the back three did really well. Considering Aït-Nouri's not played for a while, he did really well as well.
I think that's why he started to suffer with the cramp on about the hour mark, because he hasn't had much. And it was quite an intense second half as well.
Yeah. Yeah.
You feel like it's in the end, it's a point gained rather than 2 points lost, or how are you feeling?
Yeah. I'm a bit annoyed because we had it in the bag. I thought personally, they were going to be honest with you, with the foul, I'm going to be honest, it's a stonewall penalty. I don't know what he's doing. Why would you make a foul in the 90th minute? I don't know. Personally, I was saying to my mate, I know Saïs was on a yellow card, but just knock the ball out for a corner, get 11 men behind the ball, and then get rid of it. Why? I know Semedo wasn't playing that side, and he's come across for Hoover, but I don't know. But excuse me. Personally, my opinion, my opinion is on the Semedo, and every time I watch him, I think he's getting worse and worse. To be honest with you.
Yeah. No, I mean, I can get where you're coming from. I think he's got. I personally think he's got something. I think he did all right on the right hand side today.
Yeah.
But when he went onto the left, he looked like a literal duck out of water. Positional play. He was exposed. He was but we didn't have another option on the bench to do anything. We brought Hoover on.
Marcel on the bench.
He's got a calf injury, mate. Apparently, Bruno Lage has said, and that's why Neves didn't start as well, because he'd picked up. I read that on. I think I don't know whether it's Tim Spears that tweeted this after the game, or Liam from the Express and Star. But
the other person I thought today, who I thought, I don't know how you can still be in that team, is Dendoncker. I thought Dendoncker was awful, to be honest with you. Some of the passing, do you know what it reminded me of? Honestly, and you'll have a laugh at this. It reminded me of Carl Henry back in the day.
Right, yeah.
Backwards, honestly. The amount of passes he gave away. I mean, to be fair, I've just seen that comment that the person's just put in. I agree. Samosa did make the goal, but what else did he do apart from that? I'm going to be honest with you. What else? He didn't do anything else. What else did he do?
Well, that's football, isn't it, Jack? A game of opinions, eh?
Exactly.
Absolutely. I mean, there are people that, like I say, you're not really a big fan. He's still yet to win you over. And me, I'm not a big fan either, but I'm slightly more positive about him. I just felt it was difficult. I really want him. For me, I really want Semedo to take a grip on both ends of the pitch and really show that what I think he's got. I mean, he came from Barca. I know it's a different system, but he hasn't really convinced anyone yet. It's still, for me, I'm still on the fence with him a little bit, I think. I want to give him that chance to really...
There's sometimes where he does, like today with the goal, I thought, with the assist, I thought, fair play. But then, like we said, he's been moved to a left side. And then, it's the last minute of the game. That, personally, if I was a defender, I'd make sure that the ball would go out for a corner or it'd go out the stand.
What's the thing that you get told to say when you're playing football? If in doubt...
Just do it, yeah, exactly.
Kick it out.
Exactly, get it out.
Exactly, and it's disappointing because we didn't think, but to be fair, if Leeds had gone and got a point out of that, that would have been really, really, really hard. Yeah, but saying that, we lost 3 games at the start of the season when we deserved more, and we didn't get it.
I've got to admit though, mate. Today, like Manny said, their atmosphere has got to be one of the best I've been to.
It was fantastic.
It was incredible, mate. It was unbelievable. The only thing that annoyed me a little bit was when I think it was Nori or someone down in front of us in the second half. You just see them starting to throw things, and I was like,
"Yeah, we talked about this at the top."
There's no need for that.
There's a lot of lighters and things thrown on, and I'm disappointed because the Leeds fans, they sang, especially that behind the goal bit. They were singing back. There was a banter going backwards and forwards with the singing, and they were really loud. They got that thing that they got going for ages and ages and ages. They drove their team on, and it wasn't just that end. It was all the way around the ground. And if it wasn't for the fact that they threw things on the pitch at our players, I just think that took the shine off. Respect to the Leeds fans for the way their atmosphere was and the way they supported and drove the team. That is proper support for a team that's not started the season, second season syndrome. But then for a few to let themselves down, throwing thing, it just took the shine off what would have been for me a glowing home support.
Yeah, it was. It's got. I thought Villa's support before we started scoring last week was good, but that topped it by a mile. I thought that was incredible, especially when they walked out and you heard that marching on together. I thought it was incredible hearing it. I was like, wow. I was like, okay, I've not heard you sing this before, like really loud like that. And it was really good. It was a good atmosphere. It was good Osler. It's not the best for an away fan and a player, though. It's very hostile, isn't it?
Oh, incredibly hostile, and I think they were the literal 12th man, and I felt like that the support grabbed that Leeds team and dragged them up a level, and then the team responded, and the fans responded, and it was just very intimidating. And I thought our defense were dealing with it. I think Dendoncker was disappointing, and I like Dendoncker. You know, he doesn't get into the Belgian squad in place of De Bruyne for being rubbish. Which is the number 1 team in the world in world football. Yeah. So he's got to have something. But we missed Neves all the way through, and I think
I think it'd have been a different game to be honest.
Oh, because Neves can literally, if he's on it, he can literally dictate the play. And Moutinho getting that yellow card, as we've talked about earlier, in the 5th minute, I think because he's like a terrier, I think he had to hold back a little bit. I think all of that had an accumulative effect. And the final nail was when Nori went off and we moved Semedo over, and then we just looked so vulnerable at the back. We got away with it, but we didn't.
There's a question for you. You know, you said we need a defender and things like that. Would you move Dendoncker back to a defensive role? Do you
know what? Dendoncker's done a job there, hasn't he? But when you've only got 3 midfielders,
well, that's another thing.
You've got no option in midfield. Gibbs White's out at being toughened up into a man over at Sheffield United. We've only got Moutinho and Neves, really, and then you've got the under-23s potential. And if you move Dendoncker back, it's like, where's your other option from midfield? You don't have it. But the problem is, mate, if we don't bring in 1 or 2 defenders in the January window, you're going to be left with the problem. The only solution is Dendoncker coming in, or does he go to a back 4 and he plays Cody and Kilman?
Yeah.
You know, because Soyuz and Bolly are off to the African Cup of Nations. Yerson's, I don't know how long have you any idea how long he's out for?
Well, I've read, I think when it happened, I think they said 5 to 6 months. So it looked really a bad one.
Yeah, he was crying, wasn't he? What he was gutted for him, because he looked a bit John Smith.
Yeah, he looked really good. He did look really comfortable on the ball. He did, to be honest.
So if you think about it, mate, we got a lot of attacking options, even without Neto, who's out. Trincao was on the bench again today. We've got Pedence, Adama, Raul, Silva. At the top end of the pitch, we've got a lot of attacking options. Midfield, we've got 3 midfielders. One of them, if one of them gets injured, we're really, really thinking. If it's Neves, I'm really worried. Yeah. And then at the back, we've got Cody, Kilman, and Soyuz.
Yeah.
Bolly hopefully will return, but come January, we've got Cody and Kilman.
Yeah.
So I just hope that they've got someone lined up for the beginning of January. Do they recall Sanderson?
Yeah, to be honest, Dave, I think they've already got a midfielder and a defender lined up. I think they've already got it.
I think Sanchez could come. As Thomas said, Botman would be a good one.
That'll happen.
They've just got to pay the money and bring these players in early doors, because we can't really. We need strength, and if we've got that extra midfielder, we get Neto and Johnny back, and we bring in the defenders. Yeah. I mean, Marcel actually can play centre back. He's played centre back for Lyon, so he can drop into the centre back position. So he can play centre back. Marcel's another option. And if you get Johnny Otto back, that might be something that can happen.
Yeah.
But we'll have to wait and see. So what are you going to give your man of the match and your performance rating to finish off?
Between 2 again. I'm going to say, before we got injured, I'm going to say Jose Sarr. Before we got injured, Jose. Sorry, let me restart that. Before we got injured, Aït-Nouri.
Aït-Nouri, yeah.
I think Jose Sarr, I started to be like that at the start of the season.
A lot of people were, like I said, he's won a lot of people over, hasn't he?
So SARS won me over because some of the saves he pulls off, and you're thinking how, and his distribution. Literally, he'll get the ball, and like I think it was Manny that said, if Adama was on the end of that cross where he plays out to Bedens, you would have gone through and scored 2-0.
Yeah, I mean, it was a great save. I thought it was goal, man. I literally thought it was goal. I thought when he saved it, I missed it as well. I didn't capture it, which was a shame, but it was such a great save. And he's pulled off some. I mean, he didn't win Player of the Month last month for not being because he's good. But I like the fact how he commands his area. He comes off his line more than Rui Patricio. He's a great keeper, Patricio. He's a brilliant shot stopper. I think Jose Sarr commands his area a bit, and his distribution, his quick thinking. You know, he hit that ball for Raul. Okay, he had a lot of work to do against Southampton. And that throw that he did today to Pedence, Pedence got the shot away. I think, as Manny mentioned, I said if it had been Traore, he might have been away and would have caught him on the counter at that point, but it didn't happen.
Yeah, definitely, mate. I think if you put the ball through, I was quite surprised he took Adama off. To be honest with you, I thought he'd have kept Adama on for that exact reason, that counter-attacking speed.
Well, exactly. I think it'll be interesting to see what the starting lineup is for Everton. Hopefully, we have got 9 days, so hopefully that's a little bit of extra recovery time, isn't it? And then we've got Palace away after that. Obviously, Everton shock defeat 2-5 to Watford, but they conceded 4 in the last 15 minutes or so. They collapsed today, and of course, Palace managed to drag a draw out to the jaws of victory again today. They've drawn so many games, Palace. They've only lost 2.
Tough one there at Celeste. It'll be a very tough game.
I'm looking forward. You going to that, Jack?
Yeah, mate. I've got tickets. Yeah, I'm going to Palace. It's going to be an interesting game, to be honest with you. It's one of them. It's
the wrong side of London, so it's a long trip as well. So extra time might have to be on the Sunday for that one, because it might be a late one back. And what's your performance rating?
I'll probably go with what Manny said, a 5.5, 6, to be honest with you.
So that's quite interesting. I think the general consensus from all of you guys over today is that Sarr, for his performance and his shot stopping and distributions, I think probably just edged out Moutinho on man of the match. And the performance rating, it seems that the average is around about 6, which shows how low it is today. And I think the 6 is literally because we got out of it with a point. I think had we not, I think it could have been even lower.
Yeah, exactly. If it had been a defeat today, and to be honest with you, like you said to Manny or the callers before, when they equalised, when they had the chance going forward, I was thinking, please don't concede now. Because I was literally panicking. I was like, we're going to lose now.
I know. I was worried about it because I was glad when the whistle went.
Yeah, same.
100%. Listen, Jack, thanks ever so much for coming on. As much appreciated. Welcome anytime. You always talk really, really well. I know it's great that you've come back and managed to get on as well, because it has been a long day. So thank you for taking the time out to come on, mate.
Okay, mate, no problem. I'll be seeing the North Bank on Monday.
Absolutely. Looking forward to that one. I shall be over in Casino 36 Sports Bar, I think, before the game, having something to eat. And I should mention as well that Casino 36, I think on the 18th of May, I've got an evening, November, I've got an evening with Don Goodman. I think they've got down there. They've got Don Goodman over there as well. So, but listen, guys, before you go, everyone, if you could smash a like on the video, see whether we can get over 100 likes on it, that would be amazing. Feel free to share. And leave your comments as well below. If you're watching it back after, I hope you've enjoyed it. And if you're listening to it on the podcast, always Wolves, thank you for tuning in wherever you are in the world. Lots of love to you and your families from finishing the show with me and Jack today. Always Wolves.